Let me bring in Tennessee Congressman Steve Cohen. Congressman, good to have you with us tonight. I'd like your reaction to Mike McCall, your colleague in the House, assuming that this is an ISIS-inspired attack. What's your response to that?
Well, I can understand why he said that. You know, I respect Mike and like Mike. You have to look, you know, he went to military installations, to a recruiting station, and then to another military installation. You look at his Facebook postings, you have to do something for Allah, and life is short, and the high school quote of when you see my name at security, it's a problem, how about yours? I mean, it's at least related to his religion and his isolation from the mainstream of American society, but I can understand why Mike would think that. We were on a Bravo alert, and if it walks, talks, quacks, looks, it's a duck.
How troubled are you about hearing about his overseas travels, and how does that play into it in your opinion?
Well, I'm concerned. Of course, he was of Jordanian descent and came to this country from Kuwait, but I think he had relatives in Jordan, and he'd been there several times, and it's understandable somebody would want to go back to maybe their roots or visit family. But the fact that he made such a long trip recently, and I think it was a 7-month duration trip to Jordan, not confirmed that he'd been to Yemen as well, those are sites where you could interact with some people who would want you to do harm here. And at a minimum, I think he was inspired by others who he saw there. When he came back, he was much more religious and much more devout. And certainly those last postings on Monday about doing something for Allah and life is short indicate that he knew what he was doing, and he was doing it in some manner he thought to pay related to his religion. And it's so unfortunate that this is how they distort religion. And I think he did.
Congressman, your comments over the phone on this broadcast last night has sparked quite a conversation about how these military facilities should be guarded. Yesterday you said that military members should be armed at recruiting stations. Do you stand by that?
I definitely do. I think that there's no question they are targets, and it's been shown in Little Rock as well as Chattanooga. And I think that the military would know how to use their weapons properly. I sponsored and passed a right-to-carry bill in Tennessee 20 years ago. Now, it's been expanded further than it should be to go to bars and almost require people to carry a gun. But I think somebody who doesn't have a criminal record, has cleared a mental health background and done a firearms accuracy test and firearms test to know training, to know the law, and to be able to show they can use the weapon proficiently, effectively and efficiently, should be allowed to carry a gun, and certainly military people should. And if they'd have had those weapons on them, I'm sure some of those men would have been alive, maybe all of them.
What are you hearing from your colleagues in the House about this shooting? You think that there will be any kind of follow-up at all, or any kind of congressional committee discussion about what you're talking about right now?
I'm sure there will be. We just had a hearing with Homeland Security, and part of that hearing with Secretary Johnson was the distinction between terrorists at home that attack not because they're the Muslim terrorists, but terrorists who attacked in Charleston, the Emanuel 9, are the terrorists in Oklahoma City and terrorists in other spots. And there's a great deal of terrorism in both regards, both American homegrown terrorists attacking our government and being against any government authorities, and then people who are inspired by ISIS or inspired by their religion and the Koran to do something. I'm sure there will be discussions, and the fact that this man was Muslim and had an Arab name is going to cause a lot of consternation.
Congressman Steve Cohen of Tennessee with us tonight here on The Ed Show. Appreciate your time, sir. Thanks so much. Let me bring